I'm making this video for anybody who is planning on moving out of their parents' crib anytime soon. Back in 2021, I actually moved out of my mom's house, and things got so bad that I had to move back. Like, I think it was, it didn't get that bad. It didn't get like terrible, but it got to a point where I had to move back. I think I moved back after about 5 months, four or 5 months, something like that. I had to move back. But I remember the feeling of moving back, and I remember just thinking, like, I remember that feeling like you just feel dumb, like you moved out of your mom's crib, and now you got to move back. That feeling, if anybody's had that feeling, you know what I'm talking about. But I hope that this advice can prevent anybody from needing to do that. First thing I'm gonna say is you definitely want to try out any startup business that you've always wanted to start before you move out. Because once you move, your room for failure decreases so much, because now you got bills, obviously. So I would say do whatever you need to do. If you're do the things that cost money. If that next business, whatever business that you're thinking about starting, do it before you move out, so it won't be the worst thing ever if it fails when you do move out and have to pay bills. So if you're planning on starting a drop shipping store, e-commerce, clothing brand, like, do that now. Things that cost money, things that you gotta use money to market your business, you need to do that stuff now. Because just do that stuff now. The next thing I want to say is just what you're gonna do with life, what you're gonna do with your career when you leave. Like, how are you going to sustain your income, and how are you going to increase your income when you leave your parents' house or your family's house? It's a big thing to think about, because you don't want to move and be confused. You don't want to be switching things so many times when you leave and end up being in a tough financial situation. The next thing I want to say is make sure you have about $10,000 to $20,000 before you actually move out, just to make sure you got some wiggle room. If you decide you want to take a break for a month and not work, you want to chill for a little bit, or if something happens, you get fired from your job, just for things like that, just have some wiggle room. $10,000 to $20,000 will make you pretty comfortable for when you do move. And I think the last two things I want to say, it's not a bad thing to continue living with your parents or your family. Like, it's not bad to continue just saving up and working and trying to find your purpose, your passion, your identity. Like, it's perfectly fine. You don't have to force yourself to move out of your parents' house just because you want to be grown. Like, you don't got to do that. It's not a bad thing. I think a lot of us, I still think the world is doing this, or still think people are still doing this, kicking their kids out when they're 18, or making us feel like we have to leave right when we turn 18. You don't got to leave. Like, find yourself, find your identity, find your passion. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to leave, go there. There's nothing wrong with that as well. But don't feel bad just because maybe your friends is starting to get their own apartments and things like that. Think of it like you are saving more money. You stacking your bank account up while they are spending all of theirs on rent and food and probably partying and things like that. I think that's about it, unless I think about something before I get to my house.
Mm-hmm.